Over the years, we've had a whole bunch of different people win our Innovators Award, from CEOs to maintenance managers, safety visionaries, technology people. It runs the gamut. We don't look at maintenance people only. We don't look at management. We don't look just at the administrative staff. We try and look to an organization and say, who's doing brilliant and bright things? And those are the kind of people that we like to honor in the magazine. And it's always an interesting exercise when we start writing up those stories to get ready for this exercise, to see what it is these people actually do. And for the most part, as good as they are at their jobs and as visionary and imaginative, a lot of them toil away in relative obscurity, never get recognized for the stuff they do. So we're happy to have that opportunity to put a little bit of a spotlight on some of the talent and initiative we have in this industry. But before we meet the panel this year on our 5 winners, I'd like to introduce our sponsor. Phillips Industries itself is a pretty innovative company, and that's why they're a pretty good fit, a really good fit, in fact, as the Fleet Innovator sponsorship. So here to help me present the awards this year at the Fleet Innovator session is Kent Crimes with Phillips Industries.
Thank you for the introduction. First of all, I want to thank the HDT for allowing us to sponsor this great award. We choose to sponsor it because of its close tie to innovation, and innovation fits right within our company's mission. So to the winners, your leadership and your innovation is fueling the progression of our industry at a pace that's never seen before. At Phillips, we truly appreciate that. We want to ask you to continue to keep your foot on the gas, and congratulations, and keep up the great work. So thanks, Jim.
Well said, my friend. So moving right along, I would like first to call up to the stage our first winner. This is in arbitrary order, by the way. First Fleet Innovator Award goes to Andrea Christen. Andrea is the Chief Operating Officer and Executive Vice President for Andy Transport. They're based in Valleyfield, Quebec. Andrea is also a graduate of the University of Ottawa, cum laude in civil law, and it was with her father's leadership that they started the company, Andy Transport, several years ago, and they've grown it to 4-year ranking now for Canada's Profit 500 for the fastest growing companies in Canada. So that's quite an achievement from early 2000s to now to be on that list. Congratulations. Well done. Our second Fleet Innovator this year is Joel Morrow. He's got an interesting title. He's the Director of Research and Development for Ploger Transportation in Bellevue, Ohio. I'll tell you a little bit about what being a Director of Research and Development actually means when we meet Joel. It'll surprise you. Joel is the guy who specs the trucks and comes up with all the great ideas for the innovative technology that they're going to put on their trucks. Not only does he spec them, he goes out and drives them. And he spends months on the road, probably many more days on the road than at home, I would guess, taking notes, monitoring performance, sending information back home, and really does give the truck a shakedown from a real-world circumstance. This year in the NACFE Run for Less competition, he was in there, and his average was above the fleet average that they recorded for that session, which was 10.1, I'm sorry. So you can imagine where he was, north of that anyway, so pretty darn good. Our next innovator is David Meyers. He's the Senior Vice President of Operations at Sigma Network in Dublin, Ohio. We've got someone accepting the award for David this year, Corey Jackson, and he's the Corporate Manager for Fleet Maintenance at Sigma, and he's based in Pryor, Oklahoma. Corey was born and raised and grew up on a farm, and he's been around trucks and machinery all his life, which is kind of a prerequisite, I guess, for a good maintenance guy. He abandoned the industry at one point, went off to work in the aircraft maintenance side of things, didn't feel at home, so he came back to trucking, and we're all glad that he did, and he's been doing a great job over there at Sigma. He joined Sigma as a fleet maintenance technician and worked his way up to a corporate position at the company, so obviously a pretty sharp guy. Our fourth winner this year, another interesting background, Sergio Rojas. He's the Director of Wellness for Hirschbach Transportation, based in Dubuque, Iowa. For 20 years, He's got an interesting specialty. He calls himself a specialist in functional movement. He's worked with many corporations and community organizations, and formerly was an expert with NBC TV in Chicago. And he's all about fitness and wellness and keeping drivers healthy and coming back to us year after year. So a pretty important role in this whole process. And our fifth and final fleet innovator this year is Tom Schilli, the CEO of Schilli Transportation Services in Remington, Indiana. Tom joined the company. It was a family business back in the mid-'60s, and he ended up buying the company when his father died some time ago, and he's since grown the business by pure innovation when it comes to developing new ways of dealing with his customers and inventing new processes to keep the company on the cutting edge. He was only 28 years old when he took over the operation, and at that point in his life, as he says, it's hard to get banks to believe in somebody at that age, but look what he's managed to do with some experience and determination. So Tom, congratulations. It's great to have you aboard this year. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our 2018 Fleet Innovator Panel.